Question: you expressed that there is no such thing as right or wrong. I understand how this can be so, from a very removed and elevated perspective. However, practically speaking, when we are living our day-to-day lives, is this not an unhealthy and dangerous notion to live by?
Answer: you live your life as you see it's best for you. Sometimes you feel a need to judge yourself and others, in spite of how much you may want to avoid it, but it's something almost unavoidable in your current human condition. Good or evil don't exist in the universe, but it's certainly a necessary construct in your current society. Otherwise, rampant chaos would abound everywhere. In other words, understand the notion is enough for all of you at this point in this current timeline, but you don't need to act on it or modify your life greatly because of it. Just know that in the greater scheme of things, the universe is not good or evil. The universe just is.
Question: if there is no right or wrong, why help anybody or any cause?
Answer: like we said before, it's a concept that's above most human levels at this point. Living with the basic notions of good and evil in your current life is probably the healthiest way for you to tread on.
Question: does this perspective not take away the motivation needed to take action on unhealthy things, like environmental degradation, social injustice, and does it not defy the purpose of incarnating as starseeds to help in the first place?
Answer: you probably don't fully understand what being called to aid this planet has been all about in the first place. You may think that you need to endure a terrible suffering in order to elevate your energy for the planet to feed on or similar concepts, but this can't be further from the way things normally are. Some people just need to be born, and that's it. That's because their vibration energy is so high, they pretty much don't need to do anything other than to be alive. As long as they're alive, they are helping the planet sustain the vibration level it needs in order to stay in one piece. Once again, good and evil are concepts used only at the human level of existence. Once you cease being a human and become a different type of energy, these concepts are no longer needed.
Question: if destroying the environment is not right or wrong, or helping Ebola orphans is not any more right than letting them starve to death, or helping fellow humans evolve, instead of letting them self-destruct, why work at all? Why care?
Answer: we feel we already answered your questions. It's the universe at large who does not need to care about good and evil, but humans at their current level of existence are of course much safer going through their lives indeed caring for what's wrong and what's right. It's fundamentally the test you're all undergoing right now.
Question: is compassion and altruism bullshit?
Answer: no. Everyone must do what they feel they must do.
Question: do you have emotions, and if so, what are they?
Answer: what you understand for emotions is different to what we experience. For us, living is an emotion, moving is an emotion, our entire existence is an emotion. It's hard to explain in human concepts. Strong feelings and lack thereof, we don't have them. We experience life at its fullest, at a completely different level to what most human brains could process. We are emotions, we live emotions. Emotions are what everything is made of. We are sorry we can't possibly explain this in other terms more familiar to you.
Question: is love real, and if so, how would you define it? Is it an emotion?
Answer: love is the universe. The universe is love. You understand love in a really fragmented way. What you deem as love is only one microscopic aspect of what love really is. When you're in love, it's probably the closest you can get as a human to understand what love actually is. But at the same time, loving yourself in a true sense of the concept is also much closer to what love actually is. It's not an emotion. Love is what the entire universe is made of. Like we mentioned before, emotions, love, we don't have distinctions for those terms. They are all one for us.
Question: is trying to understand the order of existence possible with our human brains, or are our vessels not equipped with that mental capability, the same way a dog could never understand complex mathematics? Is it possible to understand these things by bypassing the logical brain?
Answer: no. Your brains have been designed for specific purposes, mostly to aid you in your current activities as humans. Existence and other concepts deemed as metaphysical by a number of people are not really needed for you to exist in your current form. Existence doesn't need to be understood, it needs to be experienced. You don't understand existence, you experience existence.
Question: there is a lot of fear about death. largely because humans have an instinctive fear of the unknown. Can you go through the detailed steps of what happens when we die, so that fear can be alleviated?
Answer: death is just a transference of existence. You cease to exist in one form, and start existing in another. Much has been written already in human books throughout centuries, and the main concept to which most religions are based on, are not that far off target. You don't stop existing, if that's your fear. You just exit without a human body, you exist without eyes, without ears, without a mouth, etc. If you can imagine what existing without a human body is, that's what death is. The actual process of what takes place after death is something we don't want to dwell at this moment.
Question: are there such things as twin flames, or is it a human fantasy? Note: do you mean soulmates?
Answer: different souls come to Earth for different purposes, and it's not uncommon for a group of souls to come to Earth together in order to perform a specific mission that needs to be undertaken as a group. On that same area, one soul can divide itself into parts if it needs to be born as two separate human beings in order to accomplish whatever task it needs to take on. Many people call those twin flames or soulmates, but it's mostly souls that have worked as a team in the past and want to continue doing so in the present/future.